Tons of gold crypto investing. In this quick morning update on the Bitcoin price, you can see here there's not a whole lot going on. It's still sitting in the same area we were looking at the last few days. It's sitting just below that blue trading zone, right? If we zoom in a little bit closer, you can see it's just below that blue trading zone, which has been using as resistance ever since it broke out of that symmetrical or the rising wedge in green. Broke down out of it right there, started traversing in it after the Great November dump. See that? And then we came up and everybody got bullish, and now it's sitting below that heavily traded trading range. And if you can't get above this blue trading area, I don't know what happened to my industry exclusive price note, so we're going to put that back here. If it can't get back above the $16,837.19, it's going to get a harsh rejection and traverse all the way back down towards this regional low at 15,375.14, and that was a low that we had back there. See that? We had that nice little area, and that's where you would traverse back down to in the short term, and that's what I'm watching out for here this week in the Bitcoin price. Does it get a big pump and get bullish above the 16,800 and change, and get above these tightly constricted moving averages that are keeping and forcing the price down, and maybe pop up towards $17,846, or is it going to get rejected and its next major move is to the downside at $15,375? And that's what I'm going to keep watching out for you here. The same thing with XLM. It's in the same area. It's at the bottom part of this symmetrical triangle, nearing the underneath support in the midway part, or the top quarter part of the last line of defense shithouse. And we're sitting here currently on this area of green is descending, and then that dark green is going horizontal, and that's your major support level, and you need to bounce there. And if you can bounce there, you can try to come back up towards the top part of this and a 100-day moving average in blue, sitting up here at about 7 3/4 cents. If you break down, you're going to come down to the next level to the downside, which is about 6.5 cents. And XLM, the XRP, everyone's favorite XRP, you can see it did actually come all the way back up. And like we were talking yesterday, when it was getting close to this 37 cents and was underneath it, it's a major rejection area, and it could be coming up for a classic hook nose 2 bearish reversal, and it would get rejected off that 37 cents, and it would drive it all the way back down towards that 32 cents, or the top part of that red trading zone, which is the VP, Fixed Volume Profile Indicator. And when it's above it, it likes to get bullish and bounce off it, but it's running out of how many times it can bounce off it, because every time it bounces off it, it's cutting into the amount of potential new buyers there the next time it comes down there to play a potential bounce, or to save the price from having a big catastrophic catastrophic capitulation event that I think is coming in 2023. But if you can get supported where you're at now after you got your initial rejection off 37 cents, if you can get supported now on the 50-day moving average, which you're sitting just above after you wick down and you're sitting just on top of the 100-day, then you can come back up and try to fight through this 37 cents and maybe make a big run up here to the 50-cent level, which is currently not in the forecast, but it's something that we'll obviously have to watch out for, as that is a major resistance area if you could break, but currently it's not showing you any signs to break. 50 cents is major upper resistance, right? 50 cents is major upper resistance up there. 37 cents is currently where you're getting rejected by here, and then the 29 cents is your major bottom, to where that is your last line really to get the buyers, where they've been coming up the past several months until you get a big capitulation event if you were to flush below that critical support level. And that's something I'm going to continue to watch, and that's something we're going to continue to forecast, and we're going to continue to call, and we're going to continue to analyze on a daily basis exactly what's going on here in the cryptocurrency market, as there's a lot of things going on right now in the United States with regulatory things. Maxine Waters and the rest of the charlatans up there in Washington are calling for big crypto regulations. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, Mark Cuban, all the big-time players that got fleece heisted and shisted, whether they were being paid spokesmen like Tom Brady, Dijal Bunsen, Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary, and the rest of these charlatans and snake oil salesmen out there. They're calling for regulation because they're saying it's too dangerous, and we need a big, great government to protect the retail traders from these greedy, harsh businessmen. When the only reason these people got fleece heisted and shisted, like Tom Brady, is because he was a greedy man, and he wanted to get some quick, major cash flow for him, and all he had to do was promote some nonsense website. Did very little due diligence on what was actually going on with the company. Just took the money like Kevin O'Leary. And I believe Kevin O'Leary was put there, like a video I made about a month ago when all this started happening. I believe Kevin O'Leary was put there for one reason, and that one reason was to get paid a bunch of money. So when he lost a bunch of money, he could act like he was with everybody else in the mainstream, and he feels their pain. And he's been out in the forefront calling for the Stablecoin Act to be passed, calling for crypto regulations across the board in order to legitimize the crypto industry, to get the institutional investors, hedge funds, pension funds to be able to invest into Bitcoin and other cryptos. But really, he was put there to get paid, to act like he lost money when he never really did lose money, to play off and portray that he lost $15 million plus whatever he paid staff and blah, 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 right, and all this nonsense. And then he's the face in the forefront of the people that he got a bunch of people interested in crypto because he was initially, for about a year and a half, 2 years, against crypto vehemently until somebody like Sam Bankman-Fried came up and said, hey, I'll give you $15 million to talk about how good crypto is and use crypto could have, how great my site is, and why we need these things to happen. And he said, sure, hey, crypto's great now. And then it flushed, and now he's at the forefront in the testimony in Washington where the criminals are, right? Because we know all the Washington is the housing of the jail of criminals from the government, right? That's where they all are congregate. Back in the day, the mob used to have to meet in secret and organize crime. Now the criminals in Washington, and that mafia and criminal organization, they meet out in the open, and they just go to the Senate or the House or the White House in Washington, and the government meets in open, right? The mob now and the criminal organizations now do not have to hide. They're allowed to meet open, and they're allowed to even record and send out to the media to broadcast to the public the criminal things they talked about, and the public dances and taffy and calls for more of it, right? It's a whole debacle, and there's a lot of things that are going to come unglued. Peace and love, bell notifications.